Well, I hate to follow that. Can I just say that's my testimony and let that be it? I did ask Cindy and Rob to be here today because they have seen me progress the most. I did tell Rob that I was a little concerned because he did know kind of all the scary beginning parts of me, and not as much the refined, polished part that you know. That's obviously a joke because you hear everyone laughing. But I guess the way I would begin my testimony is I would just ask you to look at the worship service today. Every note that is in this worship service, every song that is sung, every word that is said is a part of my testimony. Every song, every hymn that's being sung today has come to me in my small, short journey of life, and it has been a precious thing that has gotten me through difficult times. The song that Cindy just sung to you came to me in college, the time when Rob knew me when I was struggling, and I said, God, all the pastors' wives that I know are sweet and kind and quiet, and I'm not any of those things. Lord, how are you going to use me? And little did I know that 10 years later I would be in Jackson, Mississippi, working with some of the most wonderful children and families here, but that I would need a strong personality to survive. And I'm very grateful that He gave that to me. Thank you for being here today. It means more than you will ever know. So, what I would like to share with you today, as far as my testimony is concerned, is just going to be a short experience that I had last week. If you want the long, drawn-out testimony of I was born in Singing River Hospital in May 15th, 1977, you can have lunch with me one day because it will be about a 2-hour ordeal. I won't share that with you. We would be here till tonight. But what I would like to share with you is an experience that I had last week. I began struggling with my ordination even after the words were already printed on the page. And I'm going to try not to cry. Sorry, I'm kind of already tearing up. Dave says it's not the problem of crying, it's the problem that I can't stop once I get started. So I'm going to do everything I can not to cry too much today. But I did. About a year ago, Linda and John talked to me about being ordained, and I was not ready. I felt that if I was going to have the Reverend before my name, that I needed to have certain skills, and I needed to feel more ready than I did. And at this point, I was still planning statewide conventions without asking anyone's permission and things like that. So I felt like I probably was not quite ready. And a couple of months ago, Linda came to me, and she said, "It's time." And I said, okay, I trust her judgment. And I said, it's time. And last week, I started getting very nervous. And I started really struggling. God, is this the time for me? Is this what you have for me? And my coworkers were picking on me about the Ordination Council. And I would say, what kind of questions are they going to ask me? And John would say, they're going to ask you to name all the books of the Bible, and you're going to have to know which one fits into which categories and all this kind of stuff. And I'm thinking, I knew that in 5th grade, but I'm just going to have so much studying that I'm going to have to do before next Wednesday night. And I'm very gullible. It's another thing that Rob forgot to tell you. And so I will believe pretty much anything that you tell me. And so I thought that I needed to prepare. And I began to get more nervous, and I just decided I was going to call my pastor at my home church and see what he thought. Well, he pulled out this long list of things that I needed to know. And, it was stuff that, I think I went over in seminary in class, but I'm sure I wasn't tested on it, And he said, well, if you want to impress them, you really need to do this. You need to have scriptures to back everything up. And I hung up the phone and I said, Jesus, this is not a test. This is not an exam. I'm not here to impress people. I'm here for your calling, And so I really started struggling and just saying, okay, Lord, is this the right time? Am I ready? And I went to bed, and I woke up in the middle of the night just sick. I couldn't get better. I walked around, I got something to drink, and I couldn't get better. And so I said, I'm just going to start praying. And I went and sat in the recliner, and I just started asking Jesus to help me. And I said, Jesus, you got to let me know if this is right. And he said, Isaiah 6. And I said, I know that sounds familiar. I couldn't remember at that moment what it was. And so I went to my scriptures, and I pulled my scriptures out, and this is what I read. In the year that King Uzziah died, I saw the Lord seated on a throne, high and exalted, and the train of his robe filled the temple. Above him were seraphs, each with 6 wings. With 2 wings they covered their faces, with 2 they covered their feet, and with 2 they were flying. They were calling to one another, Holy, holy, holy is the Lord Almighty. The whole earth is full of his glory. At the sound of their voices, the doorpost and threshold shook, and the temple was filled with smoke. Woe to me, I cried, I am ruined, for I am a man of unclean lips, and I live among a people of unclean lips, and my eyes have seen the King, the Lord Almighty. Then one of the seraphs flew to me with a live coal in his hand, which he had taken with tongs from the altar. With it he touched my mouth, and he said, See, this has touched your lips, your guilt is taken away, and your sin is atoned for. Then I heard the voice of the Lord saying, Whom shall I send? Who will go for us? And I said, Here am I, send me. And I realized in the middle of the night in my recliner last week, God, you have sent your son to die on the cross. My sins are atoned for. Lord, here I am, send me. I'm ready to do your work. I'm ready to do whatever it is that you would have me to do. And you know, God does not care if we're male or female. He does not care if we're black or white. He does not care if we're Republican or Democrat. He doesn't care. He wants a willing heart. That's what he wants from us. And so I stand here today in front of all of you as my witnesses, saying that my heart is willing to God, for God, to go wherever he would have me to go, to do whatever he would have me to do. And that is my testimony for you today.